Hello, and welcome to Safe Space, episode 3. Welcome to the show. This is a live tabletop role-playing show where a bunch of people who just love rolling dice and telling stories get together and play the Mothership RPG system. Mothership is an RPG system from Tuesday Night Games, of which you can get from their website. I'm kind of learning where to put this now, in front of my face it seems. If you go to mothership.rpg.com, you can get the system and find out more for yourself. But my name is Vince Hunt, and I will be your GM/warden for the evening. And I'm joined by 4 wonderful players who I'm going to terrorise for the next couple of hours. And players, if you would like to introduce yourselves and who you will be playing this evening.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I'll be playing ZAM BRAZEL.
And I'm Lizzie Boyle, and I'll be playing Wendy.
I'm Gavin, and I'll be playing Dick Sloane.
And I'm PJ, and I'm playing Dr. Bill FORREST.
And I will be playing everything else, including things that may scare them a little. We'll see. We'll see.
You do that outside the game, Vince.
That's true. That's true. And if people were aware of what happened 5 minutes before we started this recording, they would have an entirely different.
Watch the behind the scenes.
Yeah, the
feature.
behind the
It's
scenes.
going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the DVD when it comes out.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. But this game is, as you say, we're talking about monsters and terror, etc. But this is a survival horror game, a sci-fi horror game. So, warning up front. There may be depictions of strange monsters, body horror, gore, violence, threat, tension. There may be some weird psychological horror going on, nightmarish visions, all of that good stuff that I will try and mine and use against my player. I mean, to tell the story. But if that sort of stuff isn't for you, we totally understand. And thank you for watching this episode. But if it gets too much, just pull the ripcord and leave. Because it's strange sometimes, like when you write a scene and my description, I'm thinking, am I going far enough? And then my players tell me afterwards, that was disgusting. And I know I've done all right. But yeah, like,
love it.
Wait, you don't love it, but you're gonna have to live through it, Gavin. No, because if there's anything that my players find really uncomfortable, if I cross a line, as every GM should do, the players can tell me, we can dial it back, and we've got safety tools in place, etc. And if you run your own game, I highly advise you do the same as well, especially if you're playing horror and sci-fi and mystery games, because you never know what's around the corner in space, do you? So I think last week was an eventful week. To all our any people who's checking out the show now, thank you very much. Stick around for the next couple of hours because it's going to get very, very interesting. But I think, should we just get straight into it, guys? I know you're eager to. I mean, they're all deeply worried that I'm going to do something terrible to them this week. Oh, I'm doing something right. So without further ado,
Just still going to refuse to speak for 2 hours.
And then yes,
Switch off the comms on my space.
Yes, and that will make a great video.
In a corner.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, we're about to start up the hyperdrive, boot up the engines, and get ready for episode 3 of Safe Space. Last time, the crew of the O'Brien evaluated the damage done to their ship by a large piece of oh no, I'm going to start again.
Paper, get the paper.
It's the problem I've got with the clap.
You've
Go
got
to
the
the
clap.
doctor about that.
Yeah, I have a real problem with the clap. To shoot. Right. I can't look at you all while this happens. Last time, the crew of the O'Brien evaluated the damage done to their ship by a large piece of space debris. They had avoided catastrophic damage, but work still needed to be done to patch up the vessel and make sure everything was running smoothly again. So the ship continued on their path. First to the decommissioned and derelict satellite relay station Echo 237 to salvage what they could before filling the rest of their cargo storage with whatever they could cut and scrap from the vessel. When they arrived, they found the relay station away off of its supposed coordinates and with a good chunk of it missing. This confirmed Dr. Forrest's earlier theory that what almost took out the O'Brien was indeed part of this relay station, although he had a few whiskies by then, so he wasn't completely sure of what he had seen. That may be a character trait that will come back. Eager to salvage what they could, the captain piloted the ship close enough for her team of 4 to spacewalk/jump onto the vessel and begin their work. Not entirely an easy task due to its continual spinning movement, and ZAM BRAZEL almost got knocked off course and into space had it not been for Dr. Forrest helping him back onto the structure. In quite a heroic move, an unexpected move.
You know, when you got it.
He says now.
Yeah.
They began a search and found it to be very much derelict, and apart from the red emergency lighting, devoid of any signs of power. That was until Dick SLOANE found that, strangely, this relay seemed to have received some kind of transmission at some point. But when he tried to reconnect the hardware to play it, it almost started a fire. The storage cartridge was almost destroyed until fellow crew member Wendy stepped in and, using a cool head, titanium toothpick, and military precision, she managed to retrieve it. Meanwhile, ZAM and the doc were looking for power cells and eventually found a smaller one that had been left over from its earlier time. In his eagerness to retrieve it, ZAM did not see that part of the debris and loose wiring that hung from a damaged ceiling panel suddenly came to life. It was a nice, nightmarish amalgamation of cables, wires and flesh, and Dr. Forrest watched as it began to attack ZAM. Soon the entire crew were caught in a life and death struggle with this horrific creature. But thanks to some quick thinking, strong upper body strength, a metal coffee cup, and the power cell itself, the monster was launched out into space by Dick shortly before it broke into the casing of the power cell and exploded. And that's where we pick up our story this week. As all this debris is floating in space alongside bits of this creature, you stand upon the deck of this damaged relay station looking out into the chaos beyond, and the structure still continues its turning motion, and the voice of Captain Austin crackles into life once more over the radio. What the hell was that? Are you guys okay? I haven't got a visual on you. Are you okay?
We're all present and correct. What that was, nobody fucking knows.
I saw an explosion. Is part of this vessel still active?
No, not anymore.
Okay. Are the rest of them with you, Doc?
Yes, we're all here.
And everyone's okay?
I mean, I haven't checked anyone's pulse yet, but as far as I can tell, they're all walking around, which is usually a good sign of being, alive.
Okay. Well, I'll try to get into a place where I can get a visual on you all again, but just don't go messing with anything that's going to explode again, because this ship, is pretty close to that relay station. Just be aware of that.
Try not to blow anything else up.
Ah,
That thing
Zam.
had it coming.
What thing are you talking about?
I don't know what it was. He's the doctor. Ask him.
There was a small biological component, and the rest of it was machinery. That's beyond my expertise.
Oh, are we talking some kind of... Is something alive on there?
Not anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
Although, we've not completely checked out the ship, so there might be more.
Yes, there could be another one. Captain, I'd like to come back to our ship, please.
What do the rest of you think? Do you think the doc should come back?
Oh no, we need him. Definitely. There's
Do
gonna
we
be more of
stay
these
here?
things.
If we're staying here, then I would like medical expertise nearby. I don't know what's happened to my voice. Oh wow. It'll come
It's all
back.
right.
It'll
It's
come
the shock.
Fear will do that to you, honey. Well, Doc, it seems like the rest of them are going to stay on that thing, and unless you want to take a spacewalk by yourself. Hey, this is the ticket you bought, my friend. Just keep them safe. You're the only one. If anything goes, I mean, something exploded out there. I feel a lot better knowing that someone like you is on that vessel that can patch up anything that might go wrong.
Fine.
Well, just be careful, and if it gets too hairy, then just come straight back.
I just tried to do that, but
I was talking to the rest of them, Doc. I know
Don't
you
worry,
want.
Captain.
I know
We
you
won't
want to
stay
leave.
any longer than
And you look at as Dick is stood there, he's absolutely covered in like this horrible dark oily substance from where he was wrestling with this creature. It's almost like engine oil, but a little more solid in places.
Can I take a sample of that?
You certainly can. You've got your sample kit with you.
I did.
Yeah. You can
I
see
do.
that definitely like where you had hold of this creature as well. There's some definitely there's a bit more lumps of organic, seemingly sort of. Is it collected sludge or is there something organic in there? You can definitely take a few samples. You can drop that into take a couple of samples if you want.
Scrape it off and put it in.
You've probably got a decent amount on your hand, so if you want to just literally just put it into the case from your glove,
Yeah.
then you can. So yeah, just mark down that you have a sample of this strange oily goo.
Oily goo.
One thing that you do also notice, stood kind of near the edge of where because you walked towards the edge of this satellite relay to launch this thing, didn't you, Dick?
Yes.
And where the floor has torn off, and you can see like the insides and everything, you can notice there is more of this oily substance around the tear. It's like a strange organic substance it's almost like something's ripped across it and left like a mark and a trail here.
That's concerning.
You're closest to this at the moment, Dick. The others aren't with you because you walked ahead and threw this thing off. You're the only one that sees this.
Okay, noted. But I've not told anyone yet.
Okay. And Dick turns around and you can see that he is plastered with this goo.
I hope it doesn't eat through the soup.
We'll soon find out.
And certainly, Zam, you can see that there's like some of this substance is on your shoulder as well, where this thing crawled across, and you've got a bit of a smear across your visor from where this thing is. Anyone who came into contact with this thing, probably Wendy is the one that has the least amount on her vac suit because she walked up and just jammed a coffee cup into this thing's mouth. But no, you are there on the edge. Where would you like to go?
Zam, do you want to try and find another power cell?
There's nothing else back in there in those power cell rooms. I don't know what cleaned them out, but that was the last one.
That was the last one.
It looks like it. I can go back and investigate if you want.
Well, I recommend we stick together.
Second.
Okay. You go first, Zam.
Okay. I'll make my way to the power cell room.
Okay, is this back? Is
The
this?
second power cell room we did say was empty, didn't we?
Yeah, it was empty. But it
Yeah.
was sort of like still in disarray, like there were cases and stuff that had
Yeah.
been tipped over from where this thing has been shook up. But it wasn't as bad as the other power cell room, which had like stuff hanging from the ceiling. Of which, like, when you go back to the power cell room and open it up, there are still wires sort of hanging down. But this thing was almost amongst them. It was an individual thing. So
Yeah, go
now,
back. Have another look through the cases and stuff, see if we can find any power cells.
there are no more power cells left in this structure.
Is there anything else of interest?
In this particular room, no.
Which one are we in? The first one or the second?
You're in the first one.
Okay, so I'll make my way to the second one.
Okay.
With the Scooby gang behind
The,
me.
the Scooby gang, and you're
I've
following.
got my foam gun at the ready.
Yeah. And certainly you reached the other one that you first. I think Wendy helped you break into it, if I remember correctly.
Cut through the door, yeah.
Yeah. So the door is once again sort of, it's pretty much been pushed aside, and you can see that this particular, it's devoid of power cells. There's no more power cells in this place.
What about anything else of interest?
No, you've taken everything. The key card that was in this room.
Yeah. Okay.
But the red light, the red emergency lighting is still sort of flashing in the back. Sort of further in.
From Zam's point of view, then, I think tools and maintenance and the vac suit storage would be next to try and plunder.
Plunder. I love that. You're now plundering this place. And you head around the curve of this sort of vessel. And you do see there are more sort of panels that have like fallen off, and like there are sort of screws and all kinds just floating through space and through 0G. But Zam, as he begins stepping into the red light, all of your sort of the vac suit lights, that clear light, is quite a striking sort of vision amongst all this red light. You four walking further in, and you step to the left. I'm going to bring up the map overlay for our lovely audience, and I'm going to. They can't see it at the moment, but let's just bring that up. So you step around to the left side, as we're looking at the map of the satellite relay, and there is a door which is shut. It does have a key card slot and a keypad.
8421, please.
And certainly after the boop, 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 it sort of, it doesn't open straight away. It is like this is a, who knows how long this thing's been here, but it does eventually open, and leaving.
Thanks, Drake.
Of course, it was Drake's card that you had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and to the right, you see like another metal door that says tools and maintenance equipment, and to the left there is a sign that says vac suit storage. You notice that this area, whereas the rest of it seems to be in a bit more disarray, and the panels falling off and wires and all stuff. This seems a little more how it should be, if that makes sense. So which one do you want going first? Both have shut doors, and you don't have to go through the code every time. Oh, if you just sort of say, I use the card, that'd be fine. Yeah, we can go into that.
I think tools and maintenance first.
Okay. And Zam is a man on a mission, sort of just heading just straight into the tools and maintenance. And you do see that this this certainly is a sort of storage area that had a lot of stuff in here, but of course this was a relay station which was decommissioned, and you know, you're picking up the dregs of whatever was left over. So there's a lot of like storage boxes. There are a couple like storage crates that are sort of floating in the air. Maybe if they had stuff in them, they would have been weighted down. But you do see on the wall of this place, there is a sort of there's a kit that seems to be welded to the wall that says emergency kit written on it. It has there's no key card or anything for it. It's just like a straight up sort of like fire safety kind of kit that's
Okay.
over there.
Can we open that?
You can open it. In there, you find it's quite interesting actually. There's a first aid kit.
Yeah.
There's
that.
There's a stim pack. There's 3 round magnetic torches, and what I mean by this is they are, well, they're exactly what the description is. But they are more, when I'm thinking more, they're like flat discs that you activate, and then you can imagine you were fixing your car engine and you wanted to put something on the bonnet.
I know.
so you
Yeah,
can see that.
you just stick them
Immediately
up.
where my brain went.
How many of those are there?
There are 3 of those.
3. Okay.
Yeah. There are 3 flares.
Yeah.
And there is another box within it which is set inside it, another sort of case. Wendy, you immediately kind of clock what kind of case this would be. This is a firearms case. It's closed currently, but when
Zam's going to try and open that as well.
Yeah. That has a lock on it, a key code.
Okay. 8421.
Click, click.
Yay!
And
Which
I'm gonna
curious
make-
does this guy have?
I'm going to make 8421 my lucky number.
okay. There is a pistol and
Right.
six rounds of ammunition within it.
6 rounds of ammunition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you imagine, Wendy, I believe one of your you've got rim visors. You know a lot about like the outer.
Yep.
Yeah. It's no,
Tons.
and also with your knowledge, you know it's no stranger like these sort of outposts and things like that. I mean, this may have been a relay station, but if it's in the middle of nowhere, they've got to have something just in case there are pirates or someone tries to get involved. So that's why they have a firearm there.
I look at Zam and just kind of go, oh. As in, hand it over. And I also want at least one of the flares.
I was going to divvy it all up. Going through my list, divvy it all up. Wow. The first aid kit and the stim pack are going to the dock. Obviously.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
All right. You did
Yeah, because
it
I
all up.
wouldn't really know that you're and I swear I was going to divvy it all up.
Just
I wouldn't really
writing my
know-
Christmas list.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll give
You've never seen Wendy use a firearm, but
No.
there's a look that she gives you when she says, "Give it here." That says, "There's a
and,
confidence." I would be correct in suggesting that. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think Zam would pick up on how confident she is with stuff anyway, so yeah, the pistol and the 6 rounds go to Wendy.
The rounds are not currently in the pistol. Just to let you know, it's just sort of
Yeah.
pistol mag.
No,
kind of thing.
I don't think Zam would be really that happy about having a gun, to be honest. So, yeah, that goes to Wendy. And then flare each to Wendy, Dick, and the Doc. Dick and Doc. And
In the bungalow.
Oh my definitely.
God, the relay station.
Wendy, Dick,
Dick and Doc in the
and
satellite
Doc.
relay.
And then I think I'm going to keep one of the torches and just offer the other 2 up to whoever wants them.
Wendy gives you a dismissive look.
What? You don't want a torch? No? Okay.
I'll
So,
take a torch.
yeah. Dick and
I'll take one too.
Dick and Doc again.
Okay. And that's the fruits of the labour from the tools and maintenance. You do.
That's it, is it?
I would say you'd see like a loose wrench just slowly floating. Yeah, and an empty water bottle, but other than that, just floating in space.
I'll take the wrench just in case.
Yeah, you do not have a bag of holding, so just be prepared for if you're taking a lot of stuff. What's a bag of holding? What's a bag of holding? So, but
days gone by.
But like I say, they're in this particular
a lot of pockets.
Yeah, in this particular sort of place, as I said, there were some storage boxes that seemingly just got emptied and then left.
Okay.
Can we find maybe a toolkit of infinitude?
Roll for perception. No, so it's up to you. But bear in mind, if you have anything to carry these things, you'll be taking these things with you. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to weigh you down, but probably not in 0G. You'll just be dragging it along with you.
Is there anything like one of the empty crates, or how big are these crates? Is it worth?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a couple of decent sized ones, but there's also like the smaller.
Yeah.
Let's say a cool box size, if you wanted to take a couple of things.
I think I'll take one of those.
Yeah. If you just wanted to put some stuff, and it certainly has like a vacuum sort of seal on it. If you put something in it, you just go. So it's just a handy way to collect stuff while you walk around.
Okay.
See, in this game, it's figuring out what works with the vac suits and stuff, because these guys are still walking around in 0G.
Well, I got a beneath slung on my back, so I can carry.
Yes,
I can put my wrench in.
He does have a huge laser cutter strapped to his back as well.
Yes. Yeah, and I figure the magnetic torch would go in the crate as well for now. So.
Okay.
I'll just be carrying the small crate then.
You could also, if you wanted, you could slap one of them on the side of Bernice and use it like a light.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I'm going to upgrade Bernice. So there's nothing else worth checking out.
Not in this particular room, no.
Okay. Is ZAM still in charge at this point? Or...
Wendy is interested in the airlock, and just if it looks like it was, if it's in any way damaged or.
This particular section, as you wander over, and you do see like the monitor that would be like for the decompression and all that kind of stuff. It looks fine, and everything kind of looks. This part looks fairly kind of untouched. It seems the closer it gets to where the place was hit, the worse it kind of gets.
We all happy to move to vac suit storage and see what's in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is ZAM leading the way again?
Just pushing him in front.
Oh, go on, push on. Yeah. Well, like you say, ZAM's going to be quite focused on junking and trunking now. So yeah, go on. Vac suit storage.
Yeah. Once again, you get using the key card. You get
8421.
8421. I'd imagine it's probably one of those ones where you have to swipe it and then put in the key code, just for a bit of flavour. But this is. There's really not much in here. There's no vac suits. You can see the frames that were for I think 3 vac suits is what you see. But there's no suits there. However, you do see there is a box, and in this room there are 2 patch kits for the vac suits.
Okay.
You'd imagine there was more. You can see that they had a lot more here, but that's all that's been left over.
I'll hand the patch kits to Wendy and Doc.
Because
I've already got my patch kit.
Yeah. And for instance, if you're for lovely players and anyone watching at home, their vac suits have an AC. They have armor points, and there are different armor points based on the sort of kit you're wearing. Vac suits have armor points of 3. So if anything happens to them, if anything does them damage that is over 3 points, it will tear into this vac suit and almost render it useless. So they would need to use a patch kit but it doesn't fix the suit. It's not a magical, but it will stop them going. Do you know what I mean? But it would take a whole turn. It would take a whole. That's a process.
Fair.
Yes, Dick.
Does that does that count for me?
You have the armor points, but you don't need oxygen.
So if I fudge up my suit, I just have a hole in my suit.
Yeah, it's something you wouldn't need to rush to fix it.
Hence,
Like,
giving
Dick
you a
Probably
passive-
would want to rush to fix it.
Yeah.
It's very.
Although I'd imagine if your suit was filling with water, you would, or something was getting in, and you didn't want stuff to get in.
Oh yeah. Because still, yeah.
Okay.
But once the suit is damaged, once the armor's gone, once you patch it, it goes back to it only has 1 point of armor. Then, so it's safe to use. I imagine it's like that in the film The Martian when Mark Watney he's got to fix. He's using the tape to fix everything before he dies horribly. It's that kind of thing. So that's how patch kits will work.
The spaces where the vac suits were.
Yeah.
Are there like any nameplates on there?
Yes, you do see one.
Yeah.
Well, you see two actually.
Yeah.
There's only two names. You see.
Okay.
Warwick Drake is on one, sort of printed in a sort of stencil behind the space where one was, and Ethan Vickers is on the other.
Okay.
And you said there was a box.
Yeah. Gonna tentatively open that like the Ark of the Covenant.
In this box, you find another patch kit.
Oh. There we are.
And a Capri Sun. No, you don't.
Yay!
find
What? Zam tries to get the straw.
Accidentally pierces his suit. Oh!
But it
Oh
tastes
look,
so
a straw!
good.
I can kill a man with a straw. Hey!
Yeah. Roll well. If you roll a critical, Wendy, you could do it. I saw a killer man with a Capri Sun straw once.
Yeah, so I'll give the patch kit to Dick then, just in case.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I sort of look at it, puzzling.
So where are we heading next, gang? In the looting and checking of this station.
Zam,
Yeah.
what is it we're looking for exactly?
I'm just looking for anything that could be useful. Kind of glad we got a weapon, just in case we see another one of those things. Now we got some patch kits in case we get damaged. What else do you want to find?
I'm not sure. It's quite a derelict station, and most of the equipment seems obsolete.
Is there anything good in the computer room?
Well, I found this.
And I hold up the what is it?
It's
What does
an
it look
old
like?
sort of like data cartridge.
Yeah.
It's something you would know, Zam, because you're quite sort of handy with like mechanics and stuff. It's an old sort of recording system. They're not. I mean, they're old, but they're
You
not
have to
totally
go
old.
into it. to make
Yeah,
it
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we got some back on the ship that might be able to read that.
Oh, good, because I nearly set fire to the other one.
Set fire in space. That's a good job.
Don't be that guy, Zam.
It's Zam.
There's a
Zam's gonna
t-shirt.
teach you
It's
all
Zam.
about Zam's gonna teach you all about physics.
I imagine he's drawn like the character from Fallout. Right.
So what about? So have we checked the monitoring station?
No, we didn't get round that far.
No.
Me and Wendy checked out the
Was it the access terminal?
monitoring station and computer system.
The middle bit.
They did not do the
Yeah.
access terminal.
Okay.
We didn't do the access terminal, and we didn't do the bottom communication monitoring station
Okay.
section. So
Yeah, they have.
Should we go back and do those stuff?
They haven't been down to the living deck.
No, we haven't gone downstairs yet, have we?
No.
and is that accessed via that little ladder.
There's a little ladder, yeah. Yeah, which is literally a physical ladder. There's no lift or anything in this place.
Yeah, so I figure we make our way back. Maybe check out the monitoring station and the access terminal.
You see a lot of
down to living quarters.
When you wander round to the monitoring station, and there's 2 of them, and like lots of screens. It's very eerie in this red light. This, because none of the lights are on. You're just seeing dark, lifeless screens staring back at you. Not even the only sort of. They don't even give off a real reflection as your lights sort of pass you. Wendy, you do notice something on the first monitoring station. By the panels and the keyboard in front of one of them, and there's like an old microphone and stuff, and there is a coffee cup.
Yes! Come on!
A magnetic coffee cup is sat,
you're so kind to me.
Sat on a coaster. You also do see as you because I guess Wendy's going to grab it. Even though there is like a magnetic sort of coaster for it, there's still lots of coffee mugs, like rings around it, like someone hasn't always put it on the coaster.
Bastards. They deserved all they had coming to.
This is true horror.
You never said it would get like this, Vince.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Can I take a point of stress because I don't have my cleaning equipment with me?
Oh, I should. Do you know what? When you don't give me ideas like that, Gav, I'm not going to do it to you because that'd be cruel. And you haven't lent too far into your janitorial duties yet. So.
Okay, but just know it's there.
Just know it's there. Just know it's there. He's on the edge. I'm not going to make
the camera's pulling in tighter.
And you're like... yeah.
As I walk past, I try and quickly brush it before anyone notices.
Yeah, just but like you see the sort of when Wendy takes the cup, you sort of lean down and just wipe the surface, but then you forget about the oily substance that's on your hand, and you've created a smudge, and you're trying to.
There's a sanity save coming your way soon.
But these the second monitoring station is also dead. There's nothing there. There's the remains of what used to be a bolted-in chair, which must have been ripped free and just is somewhere in space right now. But that seems
just like the metal.
The
frame.
metal bit is sort of ripped and torn.
Not any bits of fabric.
No. Well, there's no perception checks. Otherwise, I just. And there's not a luck roll either in this system. I'm going to roll a D100, and above a 50, there's some bits of fabric. No, there's no fabric.
Okay.
That's probably my one good roll of the evening as well. But how close do you get to the edge where everything has been torn apart, or do you stop before you get to that? The damage itself.
ZAM's not going to go that near the edge.
It's quite obvious when you get to this point, and at this point as well. The closer in you go, there's panels off, there's wires, and it's just it looks a wreck up here. The closer you get to where this thing got smashed, it's awful.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's nothing here. There's nothing in this bit.
So, is there any power to the access terminal?
You can wander around to the access terminal. I would say that everyone except the dock would know that the access terminal is where the power for the emergency backup is. So the reason the red lights are on is because of that access terminal that's kicked in. The backup generator is there, for want of a better term.
Okay.
And when you...
Do you think there's a power cell in there?
Either that, or I was thinking I've got the spare battery for the laser cutter. We could try and connect that up. See if we can squeeze some juice out of that.
Are you wandering to the access terminal?
Yeah.
It's a smaller room. Just, board servers, all kinds of sci-fi paraphernalia. And sure enough, you do see there is like a backup generator that's flashing a bit. You do notice on the way to the access terminal, as you're walking around, there's a lot more of this oily substance leading to the. It's sort of smeared along the floor in a certain way towards where the tear in the structure is. I'm going to put the map overlay back on.
So the smear's leading out.
Yeah. The smear is wherever the path stops, wherever the white stops, and you've got like a rough edge. There's gunk there. But this gunk.
Is there any. Can we see any going into the access terminal?
There's none really going to the access terminal. There seems to be a faint bit of it heading towards that ladder.
Yeah. Okay. Dick. I'm just a bit worried that something dragged its way through here and maybe went down those steps.
Can I take a look at the gunk? I want to see if if there's any blood to it.
Okay. You look, and I would say, Doc, make an intellect check.
Can I add my field medicine?
Yeah, why not?
That is a 30, so a success.
Success. It's very strange. The way you're seeing some of this stuff, it is a very inorganic substance like engine oil, but it's congealed in certain ways. But it's congealed in a way that it's almost organic in certain ways. It's almost like small lumps of flesh in certain points. Are you just observing it? What are you doing, Doc?
Tasting.
Tasting.
I think once I've noticed it sort of congealing like that, I want to get a closer look.
Okay. You do see something else in there. And it's strange at first. You're like, what? There's something else in there. You don't touch it, I'm guessing, or do you?
Not yet.
Okay. You see, and it's strange at first, there are small pale shapes in there. And you're like, what is that? Because you got a success. They're human teeth. Make a sanity save for me, please, Doc.
That dice went on the floor. Where's that gone? I'll have to roll a different one.
He's so scared.
36, which is a success.
The scientist part of your brain, there is the horror of this. This is so strange, but there's definitely a couple of human teeth in there. One of them looks like a big molar.
Does the gunk also resemble what's on most of our vaccines?
Yes, the colour of it is very much similar. Yeah.
I think there's another one of those things down there.
Yep, think you may be right.
And
I
I'm
also concur.
I'm hypothesizing, but I think they might be the crew somehow.
That would explain the missing crew and the human hand.
I mean, look,
Lead the way, Zam.
When Doc says this, everyone make a fear save.
Oh,
Do
does
I make it
everyone-
as well? I scared myself.
No, you're scaring them with what you've said.
Oh, great.
But
Are we...
but of course, the fear save comes with disadvantage because Dick, you do not have the disadvantage. Yours is just a straight
I don't
roll.
think I need disadvantage. Yeah, 86.
Oh my god.
86.
Is that another point of stress?
That is another point of stress.
That takes me up to 10.
Wendy, what did you get?
Well, the good roll was a 22, which would have been a
Yay!
lovely roll.
Yeah.
The other one was a 44.
Oh,
Take a point of stress.
Wendy, would you like to roll me a panic roll, please?
I would love to. So my current stress is 6. Oh, that's a 12.
It's a 12, which is very good because if Wendy panicked, and she's the one with the gun. So the reality of
And another coffee cup.
yeah, the reality, like,
I'm more scared of her with the coffee cup
Yeah.
than a gun.
yeah, the reality of Dick. What did you get with your roll? Sorry, I didn't.
17.
Okay, so you're level-headed, but
Yeah.
the reality of what he said does sink in for a moment. And Wendy, there is a point when you're like, but you center yourself.
Yes, deep, centering breath. Look down at the 3 hearts drawn on my vac suit. Think about the octopus god. Shut up. And just remember that there are things in this universe that are much bigger and broader than we can control and feel
yeah, it might be downstairs.
marginally better. Briefly.
So am I going to try... So, with this access terminal then, you said that there was a
There's a backup generator.
backup generator. Can we switch it on?
Well, I mean, it's already on because that's what's powering the emergency lights.
Right, okay.
What were you thinking, Zam? What would you like to do?
I don't think the laser cutter battery is really going to be able to power it.
No, it's
No.
Would we be able to get any indication of when this, like with from the terminal? I don't know if this would be a terminal or the computers. Like when this thing.
and that
happened?
information
Probably on-
would not be from this place.
Okay,
This would
fine.
be from somewhere
Is
else.
there a slot for the cartridge?
There's no cartridge yet. No.
No.
This is essentially
No, there's-
access to power. You know, there are
Okay.
backup
Right,
servers
okay.
and stuff like that.
Right.
This is, you know, make sure life
Cable
life
room.
support was on and everything. But yeah. What do you do, guys?
I'm
So
tempted to switch it off. See what that does.
It puts us in the dark.
I saw
we've got
genuine
magnetic
fear
torches.
on Gav's
Yeah.
face then.
And then none of the doors will work.
Oh, if we turn it off and then turn it back on again,
Oh,
oh,
ship will be fixed.
yeah.
I mean, it's radical thinking, but I kind of like.
I will say this is a backup generator. It's not the main power for the whole thing.
Yeah.
This structure, which has taken catastrophic damage, I will say. So if you switch it off, if you switch the backup generator off and then back on again, you're probably going to be where you are now.
Probably.
Caution against doing anything that might alert anything that might
Yeah.
be downstairs to our presence.
So is there anything else about this access terminal?
Not right now. Not unless you want to. I mean, there may be a power cell in there that you could take.
Yeah, go on, I'll have a look. See if there is a power cell inside it.
You would need to switch this whole thing off to safely do it.
Safely
torches.
do it.
Can I
What do
set
you
up
think,
my
guys?
torch?
Where are you setting up your torch?
On the wall opposite, so it's pointing at the access terminal.
Okay. Yeah. So it's ka-chung. Yeah. You switching it off, Zam?
When I got my head torch. Well, what do the others think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the what's the worst that can
What's
happen
the worst that
attitude.
can happen?
Just after I saw PJ do this.
Need that power cell, Doc.
Right.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen to Zam?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 10 points of stress. This isn't going to go bad.
You're going to
at
have to
all.
make a check for this, Zam. But what have you got that can help with that? I would say it would be an intellect check to, so you know what wires to detach.
So
and everything.
intellect is 45.
Mm-hmm.
I've got industrial equipment for plus 10.
It wouldn't be industrial. It's not industrial. I wouldn't allow that. That's more like
okay.
Laser cutters and things like that.
Yeah.
You do have jury rigging though. don't you?
Jury rigging,
Mm-hmm.
makeshift repair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I've got mechanical repair,
There you go.
fixing broken machines.
You can have both of those.
45. So that gives me 70. Okay, guys, watch me mess this up.
So even you surely can't, Jim.
$50 and a 0 is 50, yeah?
50. Yeah, success.
Yeah.
So,
Get in.
It's a little bit tricky to sort of get it out because it is almost like that power cell you had before, that jerry can kind of power cell, but you managed to disconnect it. As soon as he switches this thing off, this whole place goes boom, and you are in pitch black, apart from the lights on your suits and the mag lights wherever they are. This whole place is dark.
Do we hear anything?
It's in space, PJ.
Sound can't travel through space. It's a vacuum.
You can't.
Maybe there's like a little oxygen enough for sound.
There's someone clapping in another room.
You don't hear anything. You don't hear anything. It is.
You can't hear claps.
It is
or clapperboards.
deathly quiet.
Okay. So have I got the power cell out now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we switch back on the backup generator.
Which wouldn't work because you've taken out the paracel.
Oh, right, okay.
Are you putting it back in and restarting it? Is that what you're gonna do?
No.
Okay.
I think so. We'll take this power cell to the power cell room and put it in place of the one that was there.
Okay.
And see if we can power up the.
Or we could just take it back to our ship and leave.
I kind of agree with the doc.
Yep.
And I'm remembering as we came to this satellite relay that there were hexagonal panels on the outside, which may have some salvage value as opposed to whatever's in here.
So you don't want to go to the crew quarters?
No.
Where's
I'm
your sense of
reluctant.
adventure, Doc?
Invented, no one dead.
There's a couple of storage lockers. There's a storage room. There's a galley.
There's a fucking monster.
Yeah, we killed one. We could kill another.
The confidence of
Do you know how
Sam.
many people have died of overconfidence, Sam?
And shove another power cell in it.
Let's not lose this one as well.
I mean, if you want to go, we can wait.
Jim really wants to go down there.
He really does, doesn't he?
There might be some good stuff down there.
And also a boss encounter we're not high enough level for yet.
I mean,
this
there's a
isn't that
galley.
game,
There might
PJ.
be some booze.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to go down the ladder, I will follow you and I will stand at the bottom of the ladder. And you will have 1 minute and a half. Because you've got Maggie boots on, so you'll be really slow.
No,
2
no,
minutes.
you might be right.
2 minutes.
No,
And then
maybe
we will, if you get hit, we will leave you behind. Oh no, no person left behind. Shit. Then I'd have to come and rescue you, and then that's going to be awkward because there'll be some sort of feeling of obligation, and yeah.
No, you might be right. Let's take this and get out of here. Can we use the ship's lasers to cut off the panels?
If you're going to begin figuring out what to do, if you want to take apart chunks of this thing, you will of course have to get on the outside of the vessel as well with the mag boots, which you can do. You can walk around it, and there will be some checks essentially to do your job. So there'll be a couple of checks to identify places of which to. I mean, these won't be massively hard checks. It's a case of you figuring out what's best to do, who's best to do which job, etc. So you can start looking at part of the externals, as Wendy said. There's the large satellite panels on the outside. There's at the top of this entire vessel. There's a long sort of antenna at the top, which has got like dishes and all kinds of paraphernalia and like communication systems on there. You can chop up bits of that, but you're going to have to work as a team to do this well and to do this safely. So each of you will have to make a check. Now, it is up to you. If this is you want to go ahead and start junking and trunking. Yeah. So you can communicate with the captain that that's what you wish to do. And as soon as you say that, and you say it's safe to do so, from the ship, these two almost like drone-like cables come out, just like, and they're being piloted by her and Darcy within the ship. And they're almost like clamps that come out, and she directs them to you, so you can chop off bits, clamp them, and then they're pulled back into the ship. And the trash compactor more that you have built in. Now, sometimes these things need help being guided back to the ship. So the captain's going to make a roll as well for her piloting check, so that we're all working as a team. So, make a note of this. There will be scrap checks. This is a totally homebrew thing that I've created for this game, just so these guys can do this check. So have a think about what you can do and who's best to do which role. So one of them, I mean, the captain's going to make her own piloting check so that she's in the right position to do the right thing at the right time. There's one check, making sure that everything is shut off and safe to begin. Like going through and making sure everything is locked down and in place, and this thing is turning as well. So basically giving the heads up and the thumbs up, we're good to go. The other job is identifying points on this vessel to safely cut the best bits to sort of junk. You're not chopping up the whole thing. This is a massive vessel, and it's not like you're just taking it completely. One of the jobs is cutting the actual pieces of the vessel itself. And the other job is guiding the pieces back to the ship and the trash compacting sort of more. So at some point, some of you... The ship isn't too far, but it's just make sure they're guided on the right path. Who would like to do which job? It's team bonding, this is.
ZAM will cut. Because he's got the laser cutter.
Can I be the health and safety officer?
Making sure everything's good to go? Okay.
I'm guessing that Wendy would know more about bits of ships and value than the dock.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if the dock can see in a straight line.
I think
he does
so
surgery. Steady as a rock.
Okay. Right, I'm going to... So she's going to make... Captain's going to make a pilot check. It's going to be 48. gets a 30. She succeeds. So the captain's going to line everything up. It's not pretty work, this, and certainly it's not, it's not like a super efficient job. Okay, Dick, you're making sure that everything is good to go, yes?
Yes.
You're going to have to make a check. What check? Convince me. This is up to the players to convince me. I'm going to make this check, and here's how I'm going to help to do it. What would be relevant to the job you're about to do?
Oh, out of my skills?
And what check? You've obviously got your...
Well, I was thinking intellect.
Yeah.
Because I need to use my judgment and... judgment. And I was thinking possibly mathematics, because it's the study of numbers, quantity, and space. So it's judging the calculations.
I will allow that.
So that would be 58 altogether.
Yep.
Do I have to roll for that now?
Yeah. You do.
Oh, shit. $66.
66. Crit fail. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Wendy, you're identifying points of this ship. Gav's sweating again. You're identifying points on the ship to safely cut. What checks would you like to make?
I know what I'd like to make. Unfortunately, I think it'll have to be intellect again, even though I don't want to do that. But could I use my Rimwise kind of knowledge of space stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And could I also sneakily use my athletics to get to different points on the ship?
You can totally do that, because you're going to have to go on the outside. In order to take off these huge panels as well, you have to spacewalk on the outside and literally point out bits. Probably Zam will go with you, but you're literally just sort of like here, that kind of thing.
Cool. Okay, so that's 47. Oh, 12.
Ooh, success. And he's pretty confident about the weak points in this vessel, in which to, the struts, etc. Zam. Bernice is getting warmed up as Zam switches on the laser cutter. As it's the light. Did you mounted a light on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking speed. Cutting through quickly.
You're gonna go for quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can only use like one of the trained skills, can you? You can't.
If you talk me into it, I'll allow you to double up, because this is my game.
Well, I've got 0G. 0G.
Yeah, you can use that because you're literally doing this work in 0G.
Industrial equipment.
Yes, I'll allow that one.
And I've got mechanical repair.
You're not really repairing, you're breaking apart. So I will allow.
Okay.
I'll allow the first.
So I can get
two.
a plus 20 then, yeah?
Mm-hmm. So what have you got to beat?
45. So I got to beat 65. Oh, 53. So that is a success.
Okay. Doc, as bits of he's cutting off these huge struts, and you're on the outside, and even though you're not sure you can feel it, but the heat of this cut is long work as well, because every time he cuts, he has to reload and warm it up again. I've forgotten how many cartridges we said that the laser cutter had. Is it 5 or 6? Not sure on the. So, but while that's happening, Doc, you can these drones sort of clamps that come in, and you can grab hold of them and put them in place, make sure everything's safe.
It's got to reload between charges.
Yeah.
And that's an hour.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using the
battery.
Yeah, if you're using the same battery, that would be an hour. But it's got a couple of separate batteries. So
you can
slot one in. It's laborious work. But he's cutting these bits off, and so you can now connect things and start pushing them on their way. What skills would you like to do with this, Doc?
I mean, I have all my skills are medical based. They are no help.
You've got nimble fingers.
That is not one of my skills, alas. I'm gonna go intellect because it's guiding.
Yeah.
But it's just gonna have to be a straight intellect roll.
Thread the needle, Doc. Thread the needle.
That's a fail. 65. I was going for 43.
Okay. For the fails, take a point of stress. Dick, could you make a panic check, please? Gain a point of stress, yeah. And yeah, so you got that point of stress. Make a panic check.
Yep. Unlucky for some, but not for me. 13. I'm on 7, by the way, for stress.
Yeah. So you've switched. You're pretty sure that everything's off. You're the only one that's currently in this place, still in this place, in the dark. And you're sure that
got my light.
You got your light, and you got your light on your suit as well. And you're pretty much the access terminal's done, and it's good. You gave them the message, and then they start cutting away. And while you're stood there, just looking around, you see one of the panels behind you begin moving, as if something's moving underneath it. We'll find out what happens after the break. We're going to have a break for about 5 or 10 minutes. Enjoy some lovely artwork that we saw, as well as lots of other stuff. And yeah, we'll see you in 5 minutes to see what happens to Dick all alone on Echo 237. and welcome back. So, Dick, where are you currently on Echo 237? Where are you situated? Where are you stood?
Oh, good question. I think I'm still by the access terminal.
You're by the access terminal.
I'm assuming everyone went out of the big hole inside of the ship.
And you, I would imagine that Dick, because this is taken, it's not super quick, this work. As I said, like what Wendy and ZAM and the doc have been doing is hard work. So you've had a chance to wander around this level that you've already sort of checked out, make sure that all the doors are shut, everything's like there's nothing that's going to go pop bang. And it's only right at the end, as you hear, well, you could probably hear over the comms like the work that the other guys are doing, and as they're talking backwards and forwards to one another, as one of like the panels sort of breaks off behind you. Another panel sort of breaks off, and the way you see it first is you just see one of the panels just floats past your head and out into space. And when you look back, the hole of which it left with the cables, pipes and wires, something is crawling out of it.
Ooh, foam gun, foam gun.
Something small is crawling out of it. What are you doing?
Foam gun.
Okay, you're gonna fire.
Vince, I can get my foam gun.
Are you gonna fire your foam gun into the hole as this panel? Okay.
Yep.
As you see, it's in the pitch black darkness. It's only when your light catches it that you see movement. You can't even see what it is yet, but it seems like something is sort of slowly crawling out. So you pick up the foam gun, and are you going to just? Is it from afar, or are you going to go?
No, from afar. I'm not going to get any closer.
I would say that it would be with disadvantage. The foam gun, in order for it to be, especially in 0G, for it to be, you have to literally go up and jam it into the hole and fire it.
Like a hot glue gun.
Yeah, like a hot glue gun.
It's just like
yeah.
Okay. What do I need to?
It would be a combat check.
Oh, with disadvantage.
This would be this would be a straight roll.
Yeah, that's a fail. 48.
So, as you get nearby to patch up this hole, and you have to get close, and you put the foam gun in, and as you press the trigger, like something skitters out of the hole up your arm. It is strange. It is, as it walks up your arm, it is metallic. It's made out of shards and pipe and stuff, but it is more like a spider in kind of ways. But at the front of it, there's a jawbone where the head would be. And it has two sort of pincers above that jawbone, two wires that are sharp, and they crawl up your arm. And
sorry, or is it just one?
Just one at the moment.
Oh, good, just one.
Just one. Now, this thing is going to attempt to crawl up, and then it's going to try and puncture your vac suit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it happened quickly. So, let's see if you have time to react. Now, once again, with the violence in Mothership, that wonderful violence that happens, you get, I believe, it's a fear save.
Okay.
Just looking at my notes. Well, what stress have you got at the moment?
I'm on 7 currently.
Yeah. Call for. I'm going to call for a fear save.
Yeah.
If you succeed, you're able to react first. If not, the creature will get an attack.
I did it.
You
49.
did it. You did it. So as you see this thing, that as it moves, there are like globules of this also sludgy substance as it crawls up your arm. It gets to your elbow as you see it. It stops for a moment, and it sort of, as the jawbone drops down, and you see two pincers come out and try to jab at you. What do? You have a chance to do something first.
Am I able to grab it, like the top of it, and pull it off?
Yeah, make a strength check.
What is my strength? Oh god. No, 89. No.
You grab it and you go to remove it, and it's just sort of digs its strange legs into the vac suit. It doesn't puncture it, but it's locked itself in and is ready to strike. Have you said anything on the comms? The rest of everyone else is unaware of what's happening.
Guys, there's another one. It's stuck to me.
On my way.
Did you just say there's another one?
I did point out there probably was, but
this is a very different. This is a lot smaller than the thing that you found.
You didn't go down that ladder, did you?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. Please hurry.
Make a speed check, everyone.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add my 0G to
Yeah.
that? 35. And I had to beat 55.
Wendy?
73 for a fail.
Fail. Okay. Dick?
65.
Fail. Yeah. Doc?
63 fail.
Oh, should I be taking stresses?
Yes. Every time for your fails.
Oh, that's 9.
Yeah. For everyone watching, once again, every time they make a check, if they fail the check, they gain stress. And when they panic, they have to roll above their current stress, or something bad happens, or they get a condition. What stress are we on currently, Dick?
9.
As things are getting all too real once again. Zam.
Yes?
You're on the outside with a laser cutter. I will say, from where you are, it'll take you 2 turns. If all you're doing is getting back inside, it'll take you 2 turns to do it.
I don't think it's wise to try and hit this thing from where I am with the laser cutter.
Because you do not know where Dick is. You know he's somewhere underneath you currently.
Right.
And also, I will say this: it's on him.
Yeah.
And this is something that's meant for cutting machinery apart. Cap's face.
Oh, that scene in the jackal.
So,
Black his arm blown up.
So if I'm on like a platform and he's under me, can I cut the platform away to get down to him with the laser cutter?
If you want to do that, yeah. I will say you can take this turn to roll whatever.
Take a chunk out of it.
Take a chunk out if you want to do that. But remember, I will allow you to do this because it was almost like you were prepared to cut another part of the vessel, and it's like shit. So you're pointing it down. Do the checks that you did for, cutting the ship apart.
Yeah, so got to beat the 65 then. Oh, 22.
22.
So that is a critical success.
Critical success. So when Zam's like, oh, fuck this, and he points down, he blasts a hole big enough for it to basically jump down, and because it was a critical success, normally I would have said it takes you a turn to reload that thing, but in the time it takes you to move, you can move over,
like slamming it in,
take out the
floating down.
and he basically stomps on the area, and I would say let's roll a little see where you are. Actually, let's make a Let's make it a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a D100. This is just pure luck roll. If you get above a 60, you are within, not touching distance of Dick, but you are close enough to him. Visible. You can see him.
I got an 80.
You see this, Dick. You see the there's just a hole cut in the roof above you before, like,
I'm coming, Dick!
ZAM BRAZEL appears, like, boom, like superhero pose,
Mario,
with a Gatling gun that's going.
Yeah, like Bob Hoskins Mario.
Yes.
I'm coming for you, King Cooper.
So, and you can see now that there's something a lot smaller crawling on Dick.
Just go, Wendy, where's that gun?
And you can, you call that out and you hear. And Wendy, you do see this now. ZAM's made a hole for both of you to. That's a shortcut. He just created a shortcut with a critical success. However, you got fails. So the creature's going first. As it's going to try and pierce the suit of Dick Sloane. And it rolls a 3. And Dick, you see it as this thing sort of. It's not even paying attention to. ZAM's done something really cool and appeared there. And as you look over, you look down, and you just see this thing sort of recoil back. And the pincers, these sharpened sort of wires, just go. And they stab down into you. For. Oh, that's a D20. That's a D100. Don't want to roll that.
Don't look at me like that, Vince.
10 points of damage.
Fuck.
Three of those are taken as it punches the suit. So you take from your health you take 7 points.
Right.
Okay.
2, 3.
But the suit is if anyone else they'd be like it's so this thing's and you feel it pierce your synthetic skin. And
It's got me! It got me!
and it is very, very painful.
Do I take any more stresses from that?
Could you make a body save for me, please?
52.
52.
That is
you get another point of stress. And as you feel this thing, as you scream out, you feel like something. There's like a strange feeling. It feels almost acidic in a lot of ways in your arm, and your eyes begin to swim a bit. It's very. You've never experienced this before in your life. It's a searing pain. So until you have any sort of rest, can an android get poisoned? But he is, and you got disadvantage. On
just full stop disadvantage.
On body saves.
Just making a note. Dis on body.
And ZAM, you see this as this thing just it's weird. It's smaller and it just clamps onto Dick's arms. And next, I believe, Wendy, you had the higher fail, didn't you? I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, Doc, it is your turn.
So I'm outside the ship, having failed to guide these things.
Yes. So I would say it will take your turn to get back to the ship. You've seen what ZAM's done. You've heard, and you've turned around. It's up to you whether you go back, because you're kind of halfway through a job. But it'll take your turn to get to the top. So you won't be able to reach Dick in this round. What does the doc do? But the doc hears there's something in here with me.
So fucking torn.
As torn as Dick.
He heads back. Yeah, head back towards the station.
Okay. And as you you turn and head back, you do hear over the comms, Doc, what the hell's going on out there?
I don't fucking know.
We got another one of these things.
Okay, so you can make it to the hole. We'll say to the shortcut. Wendy, it's your turn though.
So I was presumably close to ZAM.
Yeah, you're working with ZAM, so you saw what he did and saw him disappear down the hole.
So can I do the world's tiniest halo jump and
yes,
down the hole?
Yeah, you can.
3-point landing.
Yeah.
And
you see, like, through this, like, you see Dick recoiling, and you can see what Dick has for blood is seeping out of this wound. It's like, it looks like a metallic, from where you are, from your view, it looks like a metallic claw because it's dark as well. You're going on the lights.
Can I try and I want to keep this coffee cup.
Wendy's got priorities, right?
Yeah.
It was a short drop down. You were right next to the hole, so
Okay.
you could run up and it won't take you. You would be able to run up and get to him, and then you'd have a turn. You'd be able to do something if you wanted.
Okay. So I want to get up to him and I want to grab it. Do I want to grab it?
Could you use your hand welder?
Can you use a pistol?
What I want to do is shove a flare into it. But perhaps not this turn. I'm going to make a firework. So I think maybe on this one, I'm just going to try and grab it off him.
Okay. So,
and maybe just shout the word, flare! To see if anybody else understands.
You see Wendy...
Sam's going to do this.
Dick, you turn around and you see the lights of Wendy's visor. She grabs hold of it. Make a strength check, Wendy. Is there anything you can...
Military training?
I'll allow this, and your athletics.
Athletics?
Yeah.
Oh, get it off.
Against a 53. And that is a... Oh my god. It's an 88.
The curse number.
Oh dear.
Critical fail.
Oh, that means we go back in time.
It's 1985. Everything.
Okay. When you got your critical fail, Gav, did I make you do a panic check? I did, didn't I? I believe.
Yes, I think you did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did he? Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get a point of stress, Wendy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Make me a panic check, please.
You get disadvantage. Oh no, wait, that's just panic.
What did you have to beat, Wendy?
I had to beat 8.
What did you get?
7.
If Wendy panics...
Nearby friendly people must make a fear save.
Yeah. Whoever. Doc.
Oh.
Doc's not there.
That's fine, because it's friendly people, and Sam's not friendly.
You say that, but you've just jumped down to save someone's life, Sam. So you've just...
Yeah, so what am I doing?
Objection overruled. You have to make a fear save.
And I got
At
nothing
disadvantage
really I can
'cause you're
add
near
to this,
Dick.
can I?
Yes. Yeah. Fear save at disadvantage because you're near Dick. Though Dick's just got a straight fear save.
Right, okay. Oh, well, first roll is a 17.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Yeah. And the second roll, only slightly higher, is 68. So let's put me up to 11 on the old stress.
Okay.
I got 24.
Is that a success? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, success.
Wendy,
Hi.
you have a condition now.
Okay.
Make this a note. This is something that the warden may use later. You are going to suffer from nightmares,
Oh.
which means that any sleep is difficult and you gain disadvantage on comfort saves.
Oh.
Maybe there's some trauma, some past trauma, something going on. It won't necessarily affect you now, but that's a condition you now have. Also, this happens because it was a critical fail. You tear this thing off Dick, and it tears. Dick, you suffer another 2 points of damage as this thing rips open a hole in you. And Wendy,
Why did it make me feel pain?
As you see, like, it's sort of like that. You're pulling it. You've sort of pulled this thing off Dick's arms, and there's android blood floating in 0G, and it's sort of facing that way, and then in one quick movement, it almost reverses itself and clamps onto your hands, and it's going to take an attack at you immediately.
Did you shout flare?
Yeah.
Right.
And Zam did.
It got a 9, so it hits.
We should be taking this seriously.
Ooh. 1 point of damage, so it doesn't pierce the suit. But the suit is down to 2. The suit is down to 2.
It was Wendy.
AC. Yeah. The suit is down to 2 AC. I can't believe I rolled minimum for Wendy's damage and max for Dick's damage. Although, yeah.
Wendy laughs in the face of alien spider monster creature thing.
As all this android blood is floating up around her face, like you've seen that look before, Dick. You've seen that wide-eyed look of manic behaviour.
Even though my shoulder is killing, I hold my hand.
Oh.
Okay, everyone, make another speed check this round. See if you can all.
I had the orange dice.
Flipping flip.
Oh.
So that's a fail. So another point of stress. Yes, Vince?
Yeah.
Good God.
Zam rolled a 15.
Okay.
If you fail a stress roll, does it reset? Or does it just stay at
No, it stays.
your stress level? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The higher stress gets, the worse things get for your character.
Just keeps.
That's why you need to get out of bad situations and rest. That's the very important thing of this.
Back to the ship, everyone.
If someone had given us a chance, you know. Now, straight away, we're into like doing jobs and.
Don't blame me. You wanted to go down the ladder.
That was then. This is now.
Okay, Wendy, what have you got?
Despite changing dice, I rolled exactly the same, which was a 73.
73. So that's a fail for Wendy. Oh no. Doc, what did you get?
So angry at these dice, it landed on 22 and then just very slowly rolled to 62 and a fail.
62 and a fail. Gav, what was your failure? Did you
74.
74. Okay, right. Zam, you're up first.
Okay. Zam doesn't have a flare. He gave the flares away.
What does Zam have?
Has it tried to latch on to Wendy then, is it?
It's trying to, but it's sort of like as she
Right,
grabbed
okay,
it,
so
it tried to pierce her gloves, and it's not.
I've got
It's
the
trying
wrench, so I'm going to try and use the wrench to force it off.
Yeah, you're just gonna
Just
prise
try and pry it off. Yeah.
Go for it. You can move up as you see Zam sort of puts away, probably thankfully, the laser cutter that was warming up.
What are we? Is that combat or?
Yeah, I will. Depends what you're planning to do. Are you planning to whack it? Or are you trying to prise it off? What?
Pry it off.
Pry it off. This would be a strength check.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you have anything that will help with this.
I've got 0G.
0G. I'll allow the 0G. Come on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's going to be 44. I've got to try and get below. So, sorry, Wendy. Oh. 00 and a 9. So that's just 9.
9.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. 009.
Zam runs up. Jam, as you're like you're manic for a moment, Wendy, but then you suddenly realise, oh God, as this thing's trying to pierce your gloves, and then out of nowhere Zam appears, jams in the wrench, and just pops it like a bottle cap as this thing pops literally off your hands, and it's scrabbling in 0G, but it's not. It's now floating in space.
Do I get a bonus action?
No.
Takes full bath.
No.
Rage.
It is going to.
No, just get beneath and slice it.
It is going to, as it's sort of floating away from the force, it's going to try and grab at you, Zam, but it's going to do so with disadvantage. Because I just dropped a dice. Right. First one was a 20. Second roll was an 87. This thing can't, and it's floating away. It's seemingly, it's getting close to the edge of but it could do with a little prod out if you wanted to get rid of it.
So is it floating?
It's floating currently in the corridor. It's floating currently in the corridor.
Yeah.
Near where Dick was.
Is it like heading towards space?
It's currently it's not really in any direction. It's sort of floating.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to give it a push. And with that, it's the Doc's turn.
So
you've gotten to the hole. You can drop down if you want. You hear a lot of things going on your comms.
I don't know if I want.
You don't have to, Doc.
Yeah, I got. What can I see what's going on through the hole?
You look down and it's dark, but there's you can see the flashlight sort of moving. A lot of people going on the other side, and Wendy laughing like a maniac, probably.
I'm too sober for this. And I jump into the hole.
Okay. And you jump down into this hole, and you can see it's a black corridor, but as your lights shine on, you can see Zam has just done something, and something's floating in space. You do see strange pale blood. What colour is Dick's blood, Gav?
I was going to say creamy white.
And you did.
I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, creamy white blood, like someone opened up a yogurt in space.
He's popped off again.
And there's something floating in the air, but you're not quite sure what's gone on.
Would I need to make a check to put 2 and 2 together as to what's happened and what this thing is, or?
You don't know what. You haven't seen this. You'd have to get closer to see what this thing is. But you know that you heard that something. Dick said something's in here with me. So.
And how close to the edge of the opening is this thing?
It's within it. Give it a good prod, and it'll float out.
I'll try and get closer and push it.
What are you pushing it with, Doc?
I don't really have anything.
Use a flare. You've got a flare.
Yeah, a flare, but I won't light it because I'm not.
If you tried to trank it, would the force of a trank dart?
As you get close to it, Doc, you see the horrific details of it. Make a sanity save. Having your earlier experience of what you saw within, and now you're seeing a human jawbone.
31 success.
Oh. Weirdly zeroed in. You're fascinated by it in a way. There's a moment where you're like, fascinating. And what are you going to do, Doc?
Just try and poke it with the unlit flare.
You don't have to make a roll for that. You can poke it with a flare. I'm going to say another terrible roll. This thing goes to grab the flare and it doesn't do it in time, and it's floating out of the hole.
Well, I said there was another one, didn't I?
You did. Do you think there's another one?
I don't want to stick around and find out.
I agree with the duck. Ooh.
You are near the access terminal, correct?
Yeah, should be next to it.
You can... You get the sense that something is moving underneath. And something's climbing. There's a loud metallic clattering. As if something is slowly climbing up a ladder.
Do I still have my foam gun?
A ladder? As in the ladder next to the access terminal? Or...
Mm-hmm.
We should go. We should just go and then blow this thing up from the ship.
Captain, come in.
Yes, Dick, what's going on out there?
Could you pick us up? It's all gone pear-shaped.
Okay, make sure you get to a point where I can see you.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try and do what I can. We're dragging a bit of salvage as it is. Doc had to turn around. Is the Doc okay? Is he in there with you?
Yeah, he's
For
fine.
my sins.
So, at what point are you guys jumping out of the exit where you are right now? You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait for the ship.
Clamps.
You'd have to go outside.
Oh, okay.
Because the clamps are sort of being retracted a little bit. The doc's turned round to help you all.
Can we go up the hole that Zam cut?
You can indeed.
Onto the roof.
I say we should do that.
I would say.
That feels like putting distance between us and the ladder,
Yeah.
which sounds like a good thing.
Yes. The hole is kind of close to the ladder. So, we're going to make some speed checks. And also, we're going to do some speed checks. So, who's going up first? What's the order?
Can I add my 0G?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh. Didn't need it. 27.
Okay.
Zam's gone first then.
The dice have decided.
Yeah. Wendy?
I'm going to go last.
What did you get?
I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, you're going to get... Oh, so you're choosing to go last. Yeah. Dick?
I'll go second.
We got 66, which is a fail.
Oh, that's a critical fail.
A critical fail.
Could you roll me a panic check, please, Dick?
Oh, boy, could I?
I'm watching this crew fall apart, right?
17.
Oh! Okay. So, Doc, you're going next.
14 on the speed check,
Oof.
which is a success.
Yes.
14.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that beats my 27,
Yeah,
so you would go first.
So,
Put Sam out the way.
That scanned. Yeah.
And you manage to sort of climb up, and you can... Are any of you choosing to look down the hole, or are you just going up? Doc, are you choosing to look down the hole?
No, just go.
Doc scampers up. He's sort of using the sort of pack as well to give him a bit of a boost. He managed to get back outside and climb out on the exterior. Zam is next, and Zam, you pack Bernice away, and you're going out the way you came in. Dramatically came in.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's nothing I can do to help Dick up, is there?
Well,
without having to roll for it, because the roll's going to be really bad.
You may have to. You may have to roll in a minute if you want to choose. Wendy, what are you doing? Are you
I just rolled a 3.
Are you waiting for Dick?
I deliberately want to wait to be the last.
Okay.
So can I use that success to be helpful to him in some way?
Okay. Yes. Then you can.
Can I still look down the hole though?
Yes.
I'm totally looking down the hole as well.
Well, you're both going to see this. coming upwards. As you're helping Dick, and as he's holding his arm as well, so it's a bit more difficult for you, Dick, and the pain is still hurts. As you're being pushed up and Wendy's trying to help you, there's a... As you look down, and when you look down, and the shaft where the ladder is, there is metal, wires, cables. It is a roiling mess of all kinds. And at the centre there seems to be some sort of strange, almost like a metallic box. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a cooling unit. It seems to be some part of a ship of some kind of way. And as you see it, it sort of tears open and looks up at you, and you see more cables sort of spill out and upwards like innards, just as they reach up towards you, and they reach up towards Dick's legs.
Get off my leg.
And they grab hold of his legs, and you feel it around your ankle, Dick, as it does, as there is a vice-like grip on one of your ankles as it shatters for 8 points of damage. And you see, Wendy, you see these cables sort of fly out, like, and they rise up and they wrap around. It's almost, it's weird the way it moves. It's almost like a squid tentacles, but these are all mechanical cables. But some of them look like there's soft parts to them.
No, Wendy, no.
It's very strange.
Said squid on purpose.
Well, that was an accident.
Too late now. Damage is done.
Although I will say,
no worshipping it.
Make a sanity save for me, Wendy.
I mean, perhaps the Godhead is actually the coming together of nature and technology in something like this form. What am I doing?
Sanity
save. Will my theology help? Or my military training?
I feel like it would hinder it.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to offset each other, aren't they? Oh,
yeah.
It's going to be bad. That's bad. That's a 96.
Oh,
I'm mad with this.
She's just frozen for the moment.
Wendy, help!
I mean, it's beautiful.
Wendy, it's got my fucking leg!
And
Wendy!
Speed check.
All of us.
Keep going,
By the
Wendy.
way,
Keep going. Don't let me stop you.
I've taken so much damage I have to roll wound.
Oh, okay. Now, for you lovely people at home watching, everyone has health blocks, and they have a certain amount of health blocks, and when you reach a certain amount of damage, you roll for wounds, which is something bad that happens. Like, they can be lingering wounds or something bad that will happen. If you would roll me a d10, please, Gavin.
2.
Then I would say you have a disadvantage on speed checks because this thing has pretty much crushed your ankle.
Great.
Yeah. You will be hobbling until you can get that fixed. But it still has hold of you at the moment.
Cool. And we're just about to do
a speed check.
Speed check. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't take stress for that. Do I take stress for that?
No.
No.
Who got a success?
Zam rolled a Paul Hardcastle.
What, a 19? No, 19.
No, 19.
Okay. Yeah. Wendy, what did you get?
You got 89.
Okay. Dick.
Aptly a 93.
Doc.
It's got my fucking leg.
44, which is a critical fail.
It's been lovely playing this game.
God, see, folks, this is how quickly it can go badly fast.
We're only on our 3rd episode, and we're all going to die.
And that, well, not you, Doc, because you got to make a panic check.
Oh, good.
Add your point of stress, and then make your panic check.
16, so success.
Success.
Cool. 9 on my stress at the moment.
Okay. But you are pretty much sort of locked in place. But Zam, you can see that you're the only one that's going to go before this thing, and you heard what Dick was saying, and you can now look down and you see that Dick's sort of reaching up, trying to get out. Wendy was helping, and she. What I mean, did Wendy step back? Did she stop helping for a brief moment?
I think she's probably sort of still as if helping, but really more transfixed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
Thinking about the Shinto octopus spirit that eats its own legs.
If Zam tries
Dick's
to
legs being eaten, and this is somehow important.
I don't think Dick feels that way at the moment, Wendy. Zam, the look on Gav's face. Zam.
If Zam was to try and cut this, whatever's got hold of Dick's leg, if he was to try and take a slice out of it with Bernice, how close is Wendy?
You're going to have to fire down through this hole, past Dick, past Wendy, down the shaft. You can see something roiling and moving under there. If you aim well, because of the light...
So what if I was to just try and take a shot at it rather than...
If you want to take a shot...
Rather than trying to disconnect...
Yeah.
Rather than trying to disconnect whatever's got hold of his leg, is just take a shot at it.
At it, whatever's down there. Yep. I will say this. Normally, for this sort of difficult shot, maybe I would have given disadvantage. But earlier, Zam attached a magnetic light to the front of his laser cutter. And he can use that. So it'll be a straight combat roll with your... Is it heavy machinery? What's the...
I've got industrial equipment.
Yes.
I've got 0G and jury rigging, and then I've got mechanical repair.
I will make a combat roll. You can add 0G because you've got to lock yourself in place while you do this.
Yeah.
And it will be the industrial equipment because you're trying to cut something with an industrial laser cutter.
Right, so that's 61. Oh, this is going to go bad now, isn't it? Did you say this was with advantage?
No,
or is
it's
it
a straight roll.
It's
a straight roll because it would have been disadvantaged, and I've taken that off.
95.
Importantly, it's not a critical. Very important.
But that takes me up to 12 on the stress.
So you line up and you click, and you... Fuck! You're gonna need to... The battery's shorted.
Damn it, Bernice! You let me down again!
You're gonna have to replace the battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And... It is the creature's turn. And you can see... As more of this thing moves out... As I imagine, Dick is halfway. He's sort of holding on, trying to get out. As more of this thing rises out of this hole, you can see part of this like mechanical structure of it's very strange, Wendy. It doesn't look like it belongs here. This doesn't look like... I mean, you've been wandering around this entire vessel, and you've been kind of clocking like, oh, this is old sort of machinery. This doesn't look out. Looks like part of something that shouldn't be here. And weirdly, as it moves entirely out of the hole, as its maw opens up and moves towards Dick, and it's going to try and bite Dick. You see something else that's weird. Yeah. Get that giant No, I'm not doing that. No. But there's something. It's dragging something with it. And it's strange. It almost rises like an Audrey 2 made of junkyard scrap. But behind it, there are yet more mechanical pieces and cables, and intertwined with it is a torso. But a torso that's leaking a lot of creamy, pale blood. And it's sort of, and for a brief moment, it looks at you, Wendy, and it looks worried. Doesn't look angry, it looks worried, and you can see it's scrabbling to try and find purchase as this thing moves upwards. As this thing is going to try and bite and swallow Mr. Sloane.
Gonna swallow dick.
Yep. Yep. Fucking hell.
Bite my dick. My next character's called Cock Fanny. So.
Okay. Okay. God. Oh God. As this thing moves over and it clamps over the bottom half of Dick's body. And it does. Another 9 points of damage. And as this, it is like a vice just caught you around the waist, Dick. And oddly, you immediately begin, you feel the acidic burn. As something might be trying to digest you.
Oh, it's doing a quint.
Yeah. This might wake you up, Wendy, but we'll see. It is now the Doc's turn. Stood out there. Oh, I forgot I had the helmet on.
I mean, he really, really wishes. Can I see anything organic on this thing at all?
You can't. You got to look down and see it.
I look down.
Yeah. There are bits of organic material, and you can see something moving underneath. But the way you're looking down. Just imagine looking down a sewer grate, and there's all of that carnage going on. It's difficult to see what's going on. One thing you do notice is the Susan O'Brien is moving into position.
Okay. I radio and say, Captain, we're utterly fucked down here. If you could speed things up a bit. And then I'll just try and shoot with the tranq gun and hope I hit something that I can tranquilize.
Okay, shoot down and shoot with disadvantage.
It's a combat check, is it?
Yeah. Do not critically fail.
Oh God.
Well, I can tell you I've already failed because, oh bloody hell! Okay, I rolled a 91 and a 93, so
the shot goes wide. It goes close to you, Dick, but it doesn't hit you.
I don't notice. I'm in too much pain.
Yep. Yep. I don't know how. I mean, Dick is not looking good right now, but as it is next on the turn, it's Wendy's turn now.
Yeah, like at this point, Zam would be yelling on the comms, "Shoot it, Wendy! Shoot it!"
So the previous thing that Zam said was, "Damn it, Bernice, don't you let me down again." And so all Wendy is hearing is some sort of hideous flashback to something.
Yeah.
Of "You let me down again. You let me down. You let me down. You let me down." And
lots of gunfire in the background. And...
Yeah, shaking her out of this, and yeah. So
shoot it!
Wendy is gonna
shoot her.
His plan is to badass her way out of this and to clip the magazine into the gun and just start pumping bullets into this thing. And so it's a combination of, you know, the bit in the A-Team movie where they're in the tank and they're shooting at the ground. So they're kind of controlling flight. So I'm trying to kind of, this is many actions in one. Shooting down whilst it's pushing me up.
Yes,
like
because you fire this thing. I mean, the bullet will have the force it has, but it's the recoil that will push you.
So there's also a slight Bad Boys element to this, that like we are super slow-mo.
So I'd imagine Wendy at this point, when she snaps into action, she almost climbs up this thing and then points the gun down at this thing. So she's right next to you, Dick, as this happening, and she's just got a look on her face. And you're going to shoot this thing at point blank range.
Yeah, repeatedly.
I would say, because I love
as many times as I'm allowed to in an action.
I love that, and I will say, make a combat check with advantage. Depending, if you get a critical success, I will allow you to open the clip, empty the clip on this thing. If you get a critical success.
Combat. Can I add? I can add my military training.
Yeah.
Probably it. Yeah.
An advantage because everybody's cheering you on.
Wendy, Wendy,
Wendy, Wendy.
Just relieved I don't have to trank her.
Oh, you might want to. Oh, with advantage, thank God, because that's not the 99 then. That would be the 65, which is a fail.
You miss.
Hi, everyone.
You only get one shot off. But it's sort of like, well, it's not that you miss, you sort of, and it's almost too close, and it just, and you move a bit, you start to move past Dick a little bit as it pushes you. It's beginning to push you upwards. But you missed. Dick.
Just hear the voice. You let me down again.
Yeah.
You let me down again.
Gun firing. You let me down again.
Is Wendy sort of next to me?
Well, she was, and then when she fired, she was almost too close, and she's starting to move upwards. Yeah.
Has she moved past me?
No, not
probably
quite
run
yet.
out of action. My intention was to grab you, but I'd probably run out of action.
She, because that happened, she didn't expect that to happen. She's scrambling. She's trying to grab you.
I sort of grab her leg, foot, and I say to her, "Look after my fish," and then I ignite a flare, and then can I not stick it down my pants, but you know.
What? He died as he lived, with his pants on fire.
Stick it. I tell no lies. Yeah, I try and flare it in the mouth more.
I love this. I love this. Then I would say, what sort of make a combat check, but what can you add, Gav? Is there anything you can add to this?
Linguistics?
No.
Computers?
No.
No. Mathematics? No. And hacking?
Well, mathematics?
Yeah,
no.
It's part computer, so you know.
I would. Do I play? I mean, Dick's in a pretty bad position right now, so.
I'll play it straight.
If you want to play it straight, then yeah. What? Go for it. Come on, Dick.
$71. Oh. That's a fail.
This thing's got too much of a vice grip around. He's just. You can't get the flare in. It's going.
Oh, that's another point of stress as well.
Make me a panic check, please, Dick.
That was a 9, and I'm on 14.
Your condition is cut in half.
You are deflated, not literally. Just hear a loud bang and
sad.
So, if you survive this, you have the condition of being deflated. Whenever a nearby crew member fails a save, gain 1 stress.
Oh, okay.
But
So they need to be near me.
right now, it is making sense that it's like this isn't. Nothing's working on this thing. As the ship begins turning into place, and it's almost ready. As you can hear going, I'm almost ready. You guys ready to go?
It's not.
I'm going to start this off to see if the captain can make a piloting check to make sure. Let's see if she's got the option to. 32. She made a check. So on this turn, she's in position for you guys to get out. So for the next.
Is this thing still like part of it still down the?
Yeah. Well,
the thing?
there is the torso of an android hanging from the bottom of it that Wendy saw.
Yeah, but there's still stuff going down through that hole where the ladder is.
A little bit, but most of it was this android. It's this whole thing. The way that this thing has been climbing up has been the cables and the sort of strange techno-organic stuff that's going on.
So there's no point in asking the captain to use the large cutter on the.
Yeah, because she wouldn't be able to see what's going on. She's got to hold the ship in place.
Okay.
For you guys to get off. But she's in place for the next couple of rounds. It's getting tense. Stick with us for the next 10 minutes, folks, to see how we do. Make a speed check, guys.
Take my dice.
And I don't know whether some people would do this on every round, some wardens or things like that. I'm choosing to because then, you know, if they fail on the first one, you don't want them to fail every time. So they've always got
78.
So ZAM got 78.
So is that another point of stress?
Yes. It's quite a stressful situation right now.
Well, it is, yeah, and he's on 13.
Okay. Wendy.
51 for a fail.
51 for a fail. Dick, what did you get?
37. Fail.
Doc.
8.
Jesus. Jay. Can you share these around a little bit?
Doc, you're going first. As you can see.
I don't want to.
Lights his pipe and floats off with the newspaper.
Now, Doc.
I did what I could.
You have a choice.
Hi, guys.
You have a choice. The ship is there.
And
it is within moving distance.
if I just leaned into the hole, would I be able to reach Dick?
Wendy's currently in the way.
Fucking Wendy.
You could get Wendy out
You
now.
could reach Wendy.
Yeah.
Wendy's fine. She's not been wrapped in tendrils.
Could you reach Wendy and could Wendy reach Dick?
Yeah, I will shout. Wendy, grab Dick.
Stop it.
And then I'll reach down to grab Wendy and hopefully pull them both out together.
Okay. So, essentially, hold an action. You're going to try and grab her.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that happens, if this happens, then I'll get you to make a strength check. Probably with a bit of advantage because of the 0G and everything. So, and they're not really locked down. The mag boots aren't really locked in, so you're not fighting against anything.
And zoology, because Wendy's a creature.
This week it's everyone's turn to have a go at Wendy. Lizzie, how do you feel about that? It was Dan last week.
No, it's good.
Okay. Okay, so... But before that happens, the creature goes first. We're going to make a contested strength check. Dick.
You rolled that well.
This thing's going to try and pull you entirely into its mouth. pull the rest of you in. Okay. Oh, my God. God, I'm panicking. My hands are so sweaty. This is so.
It's stressful, isn't it, Vince? Sorry, do I have to beat you? Or what did you roll?
What did you roll?
Well, I've not rolled yet.
Roll.
Do I want a high number or a low number?
You want to beat me?
Yeah, but in what way? Do I want a lower number than you or a higher number than you?
Oh, you want to...
You should get a higher number than him, shouldn't you?
Yeah, this is... yeah, we're playing with...
Shut up, Zam.
We're playing with...
Sorry, no.
Lower is better
Lower
for Mothership.
yeah.
It's always better to be that. About the same. About the same.
Wait, are we doing D100 as well?
Yeah, it's D100.
Okay. Yeah. So what are you landing on?
Want to roll exactly
What did you roll?
rolled.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 6.
Which beats your strength, surely.
I rolled a 17. I will allow you to fight against this thing, so it does not swallow you on this turn. However, maybe we made up a rule then? Who cares? We're having fun. Right.
You might be.
You take 5 points of acid damage as this thing continues to melt your legs.
Oh my god. I know another roll wound.
I think
D10.
Yeah, D10.
0, 10, 10.
I will use it as the bleeding. Oh no! I won't. It will be gore and massive damage on the wound roll. You throw up. You vomit. So as this thing's crunching down on you, it's when Bishop's like, it's just, it's trying to munch.
And you've got he's got a helmet on there, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes. So it's just filling the mask, which means, you've got a disadvantage on your next action. So you've got.
So just anything coming up, any roll, disadvantage. Yeah,
but your crew have a chance to help you, but it's your turn first, Dick, as this massive damage is. You can feel it. This thing's trying to swallow you, and as the tendrils are sort of wrapping around you, you're pushing against it. As you're doing so, you can feel the suit is ripping, the synthetic skin is tearing. Much like that scene in The Thing when the head separates from the body and it stretches, you can feel like bits going ding ding, like bits of your internals are tearing. This is a horror game, folks. But Dick, it's your turn. What would you like to do? You've still got that flare in your hand.
Is it still lit?
It is still going, yeah. So it's still. But you
can I try again to find a hole?
Yeah.
Stick it in.
Yeah.
Is that a combat?
Yeah.
The combat. Right.
Or because you tried combat last time, didn't you? You tried brute force last time.
Yeah. I've already rolled, and it's a terrible roll anyway. So.
Oh, is it? Oh, I would have allowed intellect maybe, so for you to spot a place you could.
They're both disadvantaged. Yeah. I rolled a 75, so that's not going to work.
Just not working.
I'm just sort of feebly.
Yeah, I would say you're probably and you're losing grip.
Yeah.
On the flare. Dick's not looking good. Wendy, you see this. It's your turn.
Okay, so can I flip in 0G?
Yeah, you're sort of
reach down.
Yeah.
Towards Dick, knowing that the dock is behind me, and can grab my legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. I'm going to grab hold of him and I'm going to pull with all of my might, knowing that I'm probably going to rip him in half.
Yeah.
But half an android is better than none.
Yeah. I would say you're going to have to make a strength check, Wendy. Mm-hmm. Plus your athletics to turn.
Yep.
And when
Cool.
this, if you can do this, also, Doc, because you rolled so well, how do you want to do this? Sorry, wrong show. Do you want to do a strength roll, or do you want to give Wendy advantage with what she's doing? Do you want to use your success to pass it on as an advantage?
If Wendy succeeds, but I don't make a roll, does that
That
mean
will
we'll
work.
all-
That will work because it's like you've worked as a team to do it. It's essentially like a help action. You know, you're
It's
both.
probably better, knowing my strength stat, it's probably better if I give Wendy advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is strength plus my athletics.
Yeah.
At advantage. Oh God. I'm just thinking. There's nothing I can add. This isn't in the military handbook.
This is not.
And my god has abandoned me momentarily. Here we go. So I'm looking for a 43. Thank you, Doc. 14.
14.
Yes. Sorry, Dick.
As this happens, this literally happens. And Zam, it is your turn next to have a think about this as you see, like, Wendy turns like a swimmer when they get to the end of their alley. She spins and Doc grabs hold of her legs, and as he pulls, she puts all of her might. And Dick, you feel there's a pain, there's the horrible pain of what's going on, and all of a sudden a huge release. Something goes and you just feel yourself rising up. And Zam, what you see is the Doc sort of like reeling backwards as the sort of the momentum of Wendy pulling sort of takes him off his feet for a second. Wendy comes out of the hole, followed by at first there's like just an absolute torrent of android blood, followed by the torso of Dick Sloane in Wendy's arms as she's pulling half of him out of this hole. And then you look back as you see like the mouth just sort of his legs disappear into the mouth of this thing. It is your turn.
Are they floating away?
They're not
Or-
floating away. The Doc sort of, he's got hold of her leg and she's got hold of half of an android.
So what kind of
I
clear
would
line
say-
of sight have I gotten out to
What-
slice this thing?
Before this happens, Gav, what are we looking like health-wise?
Not good. How much damage did that give me?
That's what I'm about to ask. How much have you got left? This is doing massive internal damage. And
11.
11.
I can crochet you some legs.
2d10.
2d10. Oh, fuck.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I'm so sorry. Better to be ripped apart by your friends than eaten by an alien.
Just give me a good funeral.
I'll look after the fish.
The hideous damage is 9 points.
Oh,
Dick, you feel your system start to... But you are... But the model Dick Sloane may be salvageable. Zam, as this happens and you look down as you see Dick's legs disappear into this moor, and you can see this thing like, and it's beginning, it's almost looking up. It doesn't have eyes, but you've got a proper shot on this thing. I will say also, look at this, look at my players right now, look at what this game does. Look at what this game does. I will say with all of that, everyone
Eyes.
no, it's got to be a save. I would say make a sanity save. Dick, no, you don't. You're almost out of it.
All right.
Because of the nature of it, it was almost an automatic body save, which almost, you were ripped in half. If you were human, just think about this, Gav. If your character was human...
Oh, full on dead. Yeah,
full on dead.
Probably wouldn't have done it. Probably.
Yeah.
Mercy clipping.
Yeah. What do we get on the sanity saves?
Is there
So
anything
my
that will help?
sanity,
Does the doc
my
have
sanity is 35,
Yeah.
and I rolled a 33.
ZAM keeps it together.
Which is also critical.
A crit. Okay. Because this happens, ZAM, and you completely lock in like, fuck, laser focused, you will get advantage on whatever you're going to do for your turn. But let's bear in mind,
Yeah.
Wendy, what did you get?
26
20.
against a 20.
Oof.
Fail.
So it's just point of stress. Naturally, because it's quite stressful. Doc.
Sanity is 53, and I rolled a 37.
Oh, yeah. So you're just too focused. You were too focused on the job at hand. You're trying not to look at. You didn't have to look down the hole. You didn't. You were just like get them out. And it's now, as you can hear, the captain sort of reacting to what she's seeing coming out of this hole. And it's ZAM BRAZEL's turn. As you're stood over, as this creature's looking up. ZAM.
Those three are still holding on to each other, yeah?
Yes.
So if I had my speed, and I could add my 0G to it, and I'm rolling with advantage, can I try and launch myself in their direction to push them towards the ship? And then tell the captain to get ready to catch us.
Iron Man 3,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Hey, I saw this in a documentary about this guy that built his own suit.
You can totally. You're welcome to try, ZAM.
If I can roll
love that.
under a 55,
As you see,
and then just
yeah,
get us as far away as I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
towards the
You
ship.
make the roll, and I'll let you know how well it goes.
And I got advantage, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so the first roll is an 18.
See if you can get a critical.
And second roll is a 25. So we go with the 18.
With the 18. At first, like looking down and seeing this thing, and as it sort of looks up and it begins, the cable start. You decide the better course of action is to get out, and as you look up at Doc Forrest holding on to Wendy and the torso of an android, like it's some crazy balloon. You then look over and you see the Susan O'Brien appear in your vision behind them, and you know the time is right. Fuck this place, let's get out of here. And you...
I've never been so glad to see that piece of crap in my life. We're coming in, Captain. We're coming in hot.
And ZAM uses the thrusters on the pack to just push you all, and momentum carries you the rest of the way. Dick, you're just along for the ride, like half there, and the captain's now going to make a roll to see if she lines up the airlock that she's opened up for you. She's been doing well on her...
Straight into an engine.
Yeah, she's been doing well on her piloting check.
We all die.
She's been doing well on her piloting check, so she...
You can just hear Wendy say, Dick, you will see your fish again. You will see your fish again.
No response.
What fish? The hell's a fish?
She got a 44,
Oh, God.
and she was aiming for a 50.
And that's critical.
Yes. So she perfectly lines this. You tumble, literally, into the airlock. And, like, as everything goes... Goddamn, shut the door! Shut the goddamn door! And the last thing you see before the airlock closes the door closes. I mean, it's still got a window in it, but you can still see the door closing. Is some strange creature appear from out of this hole. It's more covered in pale android blood. And that's where we're going to end this week's session.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
No, you saved me.
Yes.
That genuinely may have been the tensest tabletop game I've ever played.
Oh dear. Thank you for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that. We're all sweating here. I'm literally sweating. I know it's humid in the UK as we speak, but I haven't had an experience like that for quite some time. When Gavin started tonight, he didn't think I was going to rip his character in half with the help of Lizzie Boyle. But so what will happen? Because Dick SLOANE may be out of commission. We'll have to see what happens, because that was a hell of a session. Now, before we leave you, thank you very much for watching. Where can everyone find our lovely players online, etc.? Jim, take it away.
You can find me on Twitter at JimBob1978.
Lizzie.
You can find me and tell me how much of a hero ZAM is.
Yeah, send kind of all the ZAM praise and all the Wendy. Oh God, she did what she thought was right.
It was right.
Lizzie Boyle says on Twitter, and can I do a little shout out plug for Monster Fun, which is a quarterly-ish children's comic anthology published by Rebellion. There's one out this week, which is the first week in August, and look out for some cool kids monster-based comic action, including a little bit by me.
Amazing. Monster action. Who knows? I think I'm a fan of Monster Fun. Don't know. Definitely check that out. Gav.
I promise that I don't rip anybody in half in my story.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe next
But
time.
now I've got some ideas.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bob Goblin, GOB. No. GOB. I've been torn in half. I'm a bit rapid. BOB, Instagram and Twitter.
Nice. PJ.
On Twitter, I'm at PJ Montgomery. On Instagram, I'm PJM82. And every other Monday, you can hear me on the JLA cast, where I look at old 90s comics with John Locke.
Nice. And you can find me on social media at Jester Diablo. And you can follow this show, Safe Space RPG, on Twitter. Please like, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, because we're going to keep doing this because this is so much fun. We're all very tense, but in a good way.
Fan art.
Yes,
fan art.
yes.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, we are open to fan art. There's some crazy stuff going on in this show, as you can tell, and the action scenes that these guys are producing is chef's kiss. So if you've got any fan art,
one setup and 3 episodes, and I've already taken 1 hand and 2 legs off the story. I feel I need to go to some sort of training about droid management.
I think you just need to get the other hand.
Just for the full set.
Well, you can't
start to make my own.
Well, you can't have the legs anymore because someone else has those. Too soon?
True.
Too soon?
Too soon.
But no, yes. If you do it, if you've got any fan art, please send it our way, because we'll put some up in the break in future shows.
Because otherwise, I'll have to draw it, and no one wants that.
Oh, PJ, please send me some. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I kind of want that.
Yeah. The internal monologue of the doc. Why am I here? Yeah. That kind of...
Just different types of booze.
Yeah. Well, next time, of course, they are off of this hideous nightmare that was a satellite relay station. Who knows what happened on this relay station, but nothing good was upon it, that's for sure. But all 4 of them, 3 and a half, managed to get off Echo 237. But now What are they going to do with this relay station? What is the state of Dick Sloane? Has Wendy suffered quite a traumatic experience in her own way? How confident is ZAM after doing such a boss move? And how much booze is Doc going to consume in the next episode? Well, we'll find out next time we play Safe Space. But until then, wherever you are in the world, no matter what you're doing, just stay safe. I'm not confident in that outro, but we'll take it anyway.
Send us your outro
So
ideas.
send us the outro ideas, and I'll read them. I'll read them. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.